hear the paparazzi at NASA headquarters zeroing in on Allen Hills 84001. So that really reignited. I think the end result of that whole episode, it did not prove one way or another that there was evidence of biology inside that meteorite, but what it did do was it rehabilitated the entire subject of exobiology. It took the idea of life beyond Earth and moved it from the fringe to the mainstream. And that had a positive effect not only on Mars exploration, but in solar system exploration in general. And of course, as we see now, many of the places that we're most interested in as potential abodes of life, past or present, are in the outer solar system. Places like the Saturnian satellites Enceladus and Titan, and the Jovian satellite Europa. By the turn of the century, the new century, NASA was recovering from the disastrous overuse of faster, better, cheaper with the Mars Polar Lander and the Mars Climate Orbiter, and came back in spectacular fashion with the Mars rovers, Spirit and Opportunity. And of course, we got to see what robotic field geology is like on Mars. And you all know that story, the discovery of sedimentary layers in this layers of bedrock inside the crater that the Opportunity rover landed in was just the beginning of the discovery of a spectacular water story on Mars that we now know all but confirms that the planet was hospitable to life in the past, and may yet be today if you could dig down deeply enough. When Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter arrived at Mars in 2006, we got, among the images that we got early from MRO, was this one showing the Opportunity rover at the edge of Victoria Crater. And when I saw this picture, I thought of Lawrence of Arabia. Just to me was this wonderful cinematic moment. And I think that we humans need to feel connected to our explorers, whether they be human or machine. And I think this picture does that. And by the way, those rovers are still going after 5.5 years. The story is continuing. Finally, I close with this picture, which was taken by the rover Spirit on the surface of Mars a couple months after landing. That, of course, is us. That's the Earth, seen from the floor of Goosehead Crater about an hour before sunrise in March of 2004. And the reason that it says Tomorrowland there, that's the chapter title of my last chapter in A Passion for Mars, is that getting to Mars has always been a goal that is locked in the indefinite future. We still don't know at this point when that goal will take place. But I think one of the things that may stir some debate among the panel is to point out the difficulties of getting to Mars with humans, as emphasized by this picture. And even aside from the technology, the need for reliable vehicles that can get along without resupply from Earth, the need to protect humans against radiation and other medical hazards, the need to develop in situ resource utilization in order to make a human Mars mission feasible. There's one other aspect that this picture emphasizes, and that is the sheer distance, the sheer isolation. When you go to Mars, the Earth is nothing more than a bright star, and you are so far away from home that your radio signals take many minutes, maybe 10, 15, sometimes even 20 minutes one way to go from the Mars to the Earth and then back again. And so real-time communication, normal communication, will be impossible for the people on Mars with anyone except the people who are on Mars with them. And I think that that is going to be a situation where we are cutting the cord in a way that we have not done before in space exploration. So I think that that is one reason why I go back to the words of Ray Bradbury, the great science fiction writer and also essayist. I call him the poet laureate of space exploration. And his statement is that we are too soon from the cave, too far from the stars, and what that means is we're midway through a journey on the order of 1 million years from our prehistoric origins to our interplanetary future. And as I say, it is a multi-generational quest, one which we still do not see a date certain for solving. And finally, these are the books that I will be signing at 3 o'clock. Thank you, and Ted, please join me up here, and I'll figure out how to close this thing. How do you turn this on? I'm a Mac guy now, so I've suddenly lost my. Oh, there you are. Yeah, so you. Yeah, but this is what it does to you. You go Mac, and you're just a little part of your brain. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Now I'm looking at Mac here to get a full scale on this. Yeah, I know. I've watched it. It's only been half a year. Okay, very good. Okay, great. I'm really delighted to be here, and I'm really glad to see it's a very nice, good-sized crowd. As you heard, I'm an engineer. I've been working in the space business for some 25, 30 years. So this historical perspective is really kind of far afield for me, but it's kind of a hobby and something I really enjoy. What I'd like to do here is give you a comparison to what happened about 1,000 years ago with the Greenland Norse, who explored Greenland, and focusing on the technology issues that they dealt with, and how really, what I'm kind of talking about is how technology helped them, not that. In days past, you needed more and more advanced ships to get first on the water at all, and then further to go from there and get out to the open ocean. And if you're dealing in the open ocean in the North Sea, it's a pretty rough sea, so you really got to know what you're doing. So technology is important, but it's only one of the factors that may impact successful exploration. Others include why you're going. You know, are you going for an output? Are you going to a camping trip? Are you going to go look for supplies? Or are you going to stay there? What do you bring with you? What kind of resources do you have? Do you have long-term support, or lack thereof, from your mother country? Now, that may not be a big deal if you're going out for a camping trip, but if you're planning and colonizing and spending hundreds of years, it can be a pretty big deal. What's the local climate or environment? Are there competing groups, either that are already there, or that arrive later, or that may come from the area that you came with and want to compete with you for the resources that are there? What indigenous resources are available at the location you go, and how can you use them? And what is your culture attitude? You know, all these things kind of play into the story I'll be giving you. So developing lessons learned from history, I think this is always precarious, it's always a very difficult thing to do. So as I'll discuss with you later, I've applied a technique here to try to quantify this and to try to be a little bit more objective in it. Okay, scope of the presentation. Now the focus of the study, let's say, is on technology as it applies for exploration. My postulation is that past exploration endeavors do hold clues for future efforts to explore and colonize space. This particular study, what I'm trying to do is compare the Greenland Norse, who settled, these are people basically Scandinavian, primarily Norway, but also from Finland and Denmark, who settled Greenland from 988 AD to the demise of approximately 1500. The interesting thing is we know very exactly who went there, when they got there, why they went. We don't really know what happened to them. And we're going to compare that versus the NASA's 2004 Vision for Space Exploration. That's because that's a well-documented case study, and we can go from there. Now, as I say, for the future Vision for Space Exploration, we have detailed plans, albeit these are changing probably as we talk, but nevertheless, we have a set of plans. So this is a convenient comparison point. For the Greenland Norse, however, there are several sources of information available. And again, as an engineer, I'd like to develop a model and get data and compare things and be quantitative as possible. So I looked into this, is there any good data? Well, it turns out there is fairly good data. First of all, there's modern archaeology, which gives us a lot of interesting information. And the archaeology tends to collaborate, their own